Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. So, several years ago, I was one of a few guys running a TV show, a sitcom, in Los Angeles, and our star, our lead actor, was a bit of a prima donna. He was a little, he was kind of a handful, and it was a problem, and we met with the network executives to discuss ways to get this guy more relaxed and goofy and to get into that self-deprecating mood that's really important when you're trying to do a comedy. So I suggested that maybe maybe we had too many people at our rehearsals, that it was kind of spooking him, and that maybe we should limit the people at our rehearsals to just the creative team, just the writers and actors and director. And when I said that, I could see the blood drain out of these executives' faces, and one of them very angrily said that she thought that their job was creative. So it was a very awkward meeting. It ended, luckily, kind of quickly after that, but but I learned a lesson, and you know, if only for self-preservation, I have broadened my conception of creativity. But I think there's a good reason why I feel kind of fussy and proprietary about creativity, and I think the reason can be summed up in the fact that I've been writing professionally for 16 years, and I have not improved one bit. I haven't gotten faster, I haven't gotten better, I haven't learned anything. I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. When I start a new project, I'm really starting at square one. But if I can define creativity as those skills that don't improve over time, then I'm not lazy and incompetent and unproductive. I'm just a creative guy. I'm creative. So I know this kind of flies in the face of what this summit's all about. It's all about improving your ways of being creative and innovative and learning and exercises and advice and methodology and inspirational messages that can improve you. So in the spirit of things, what I will do is I'll offer three little rules of thumb that I do use. You know, they're relatively not super helpful. but they're better than nothing. They're better than nothing. And then what I thought I would do is I would just talk about the origins of a handful of different ideas, different creative ideas that I like that made it to TV and film, and show you clips. And maybe, you know, the many of you who are smarter than I am can see patterns that I don't, or give me, you know, distill it into advice that I can maybe incorporate into a better presentation next year if I'm invited back. So the three little tidbits that I'll share with you first are, first of all, I have found that caffeine and chocolate and sugar help. All my best work has been you know, while I'm guzzling M&Ms and Coke. I'm sorry to Nestle, but I'm a Mars guy. The second little tidbit is that I have found that dreams, you know, dreams you have while you sleep, are totally worthless. But, you know, they're worse than worthless because you waste a lot of time. You know, you think of dreams as distilled creativity, and you wake up in this really excited mood. You thought of something really funny, and as you write it down, it's a little less funny, but you still work with it, and you can't quite morph it into something that's not total gibberish. So dreams are out, at least where I come from in my experience. And the third bit of advice I can offer is, if you're going to struggle, and you probably will, you might as well have fun while you're doing it. So I recommend getting a partner. And I've written with a partner since '94, and he's a great partner. His name's Greg Cavett. He lives in Los Angeles, and we hook up by computer and telephone. And he's not here today, but a lot of what you're going to see is his work as well as mine. So that said, why don't I get into the first idea. The clip you're going to see first is from a movie that Greg and I wrote and directed. It's called Live Free or Die. and it won the Seattle Film Festival and the South by Southwest Film Festival in Austin. And it's basically the story of these two bumbling losers in a small town in New Hampshire trying to pass themselves off as cool, hardened criminals. And in the process, they end up thinking that they've killed someone. They haven't killed anyone, but they're kind of thrown into a panic because the police are after them. But the police are after them for totally unrelated reasons and equally misguided reasons. So it's kind of this mistaken game of cat and mouse. And the first clip I'd like to show you, the basic idea here came from a real episode that happened independently to me and Greg, and doubtless a lot of other people who grew up in New England. When we were kids, it seemed like every other week somebody was coming up to us at Little League games or at school in a van trying to sell us audio speakers. So it's kind of a mystery. You know, it had the distinct aura of illegality about it, you know. But, you know, it's the same dude in the same van. You know, why isn't this guy getting nabbed? What's going on? It's this mystery. So what we did is we had this cathartic experience of solving that mystery while creating a character. And the character is our lead character, John Rugged Rudgate. And you're going to see the very opening of the movie that introduces Rugged, and then the solving of this mystery. I should mention the movie is going to be released in February by Think Film, so it'll be out soon. So the next clip comes from another episode from my life. When I was around 13, my parents' house was burgled. Just a few sentimental trinkets were taken, but my parents, neurotic that they are, thought that it was some like high-powered mafia squad that had done it. And my brother and I just knew it was this neighbor, Doug, this like 14-year-old kid. So it was a very awkward and, in retrospect, funny scene at the bus stop the next morning when Doug's there and I'm there and my brother's there mouthing off to Doug and accusing him of burgling our house. So we kind of wanted to recreate that scene and just amp it a little bit. So the next clip you're going to watch is Rugged confronting somebody who apparently did that to his parents. Rugged has to mention, Rugged's trying to get this guy to help him get past an alarm at a hardware store. And so Rugged, the one thing that Rugged's afraid to bring up, the burglary, is the one thing he really needs to bring up. So it's that sort of awkwardness. Okay, so the next idea came from a totally different source. It was, Greg and I had read these articles on this real underappreciated problem in the aviation industry, that they lose a lot of planes to birds that get sucked into their engines. And that seemed really interesting to us. It's a huge cost, and it kills people, and they have to have real R&D to try to improve their engines. So we thought it'd be funny to kind of depict that R&D in the form of this pink-slipped aerospace engineer who's made it like his life's obsession to crack this problem. His name's Mike Stanley, and he's going to demo for a potential investor his engine in his own backyard.
1894, 3-engine transport plane goes down over Long Island. Cause of crash, bar hit a goose. 1998.
So I forgot to mention that this was a pilot for FX, and it was about this feud between these two neighboring families. So this was like the consummate way to launch the feud. You saw the other head of the other household there. The next clip I'm going to show you, the next idea, was used in a Seinfeld episode called The Junior Mint. It was my first Seinfeld episode. And this came from my personal life, but it's sort of a generic problem that many of us have. We forget people's names. I feel like I'm especially bad at it, so I really wanted to get this into a script for some cathartic reason. And I just took it to this extreme level where Jerry Seinfeld can't remember his own girlfriend's name.
What's her name? Oh, well. Now you gotta ask her name. It's so embarrassing.
All right, and just to round out the group, the last idea is an example of one of those ideas that come from time to time that's just total fantasy. It was something I needed to shoehorn into another story, and the basic gist was Kramer gets to witness an operation. A doctor invites him to see an operation, and Kramer decides to treat going to see this operation like going to a movie.
Now let's try breast.
So I was a big fan of the show before I started writing for it, and I remember after that was shot thinking, this is the stupidest, most implausible scene ever. I'm destroying the show that I love. And the comedy can get you over the craziest, most ridiculous implausibilities. So I'm sorry I don't have any answers for you today. I'm hopeful that I was in some tiny way helpful, and thanks for your time.